Hey, what's up? In this video, I'm going to teach you how to play Mac Miller type chords. These chords come from the tune called Ladders, which is a sick tune. I'm going to play a little bit now with a beat just so that you know what we're working towards. Okay, so as you can hear, super smooth chords. These are dope chords, right? I'm going to teach you how to play them, but I'm also going to show you how you can actually develop these chords into your hands and your fingers so that you can use these in the future for your songwriting or playing or producing or whatever you're going to do on the keys, right? Let's start with the left hand. First we have E flat, and then we have G, and then we have C. Super simple. We're just playing root notes in the left hand, okay? Now, the rhythm is quite important. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the C comes in on the and of 4. Okay, let me count it with the ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So this is what's called syncopation, right? It creates a sense of rhythmic interest in the chord progression, and I think that's quite important. That's what's happening in this tune. So that's the left hand sorted. Super simple. Now let's take a look at the right hand. First we start with an E flat major 7 chord. So we have an E flat triad with the 7th, the major 7th that is, which is, by the way, half step down from the root. The root is E flat, we're going down a half step, and that is the formula for creating a major 7th chord, by the way. The next chord we're going to play in the right hand is quite simply an F major triad. I mean, that's just so simple, right? We're using such simple ingredients here. When you play this major triad over this G root, you get this chord, which is one of the dopest chords of all time in my book. And it's so ridiculously easy to make, right? We just have a single note here, a G. You find that G up here. You go down a whole step, and from that note you create a major triad. Boom, you have one of the dopest chords of all time using the simplest ingredients. Let's just quickly apply this somewhere else just so that you can kind of see this idea. Let's take A flat, okay, find A flat up here, go down a whole step, create a major triad. I mean, it's stupidly simple. Okay, so this is where we're at. E flat, major 7, G, we're going to call this a G minor 11, okay? And then we go to this. Okay, so look at this. The right hand is literally just going back to the E flat major 7 shape. I mean, I told you it's simple, right? The right hand is only doing this and this. It's just ridiculously simple, I think, anyway. Please comment if this is I don't know, confusing or whatever. Now when you superimpose this major 7th shape over this C, what we have here is actually a major 7th shape built from the minor 3rd of C, okay? Now what this gives us is the minor 3rd, the 5th, the minor 7th, and the 9th. That's why these shapes are just so powerful, because when you can place them on different root notes, you can create different kinds of chords and establish different harmony. I won't go into that here in this video, but that's essentially what's happening here. A major 7th shape built from the minor 3rd. Okay, so this is what we have. Now remember the timing of the chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So there you have it. That's pretty much the chord progression of this tune. Now what we're going to do is explore some of the different inversions, right? I told you that I was going to teach you how you can actually develop these chords, and this is what you do. You train inversions up and down, kind of like a mechanical drill, okay? So think of this like going to the gym, right? If you go to the gym, or if you know anyone who goes to the gym, they go there and literally train one specific exercise every single day over and over again. It's training, okay? So think of this exercise as like physical training. You just show up for like 10 minutes a day, smash it out, and within a month you're going to have these chords in your hands and in your fingers to use at command, okay? So what you want to do is you want to create the chord in both hands. So in the left hand, in the right hand, we're doing this for an E flat major 7, and then you want to go up to the next inversion. So I'll show you just using one hand here. So that's the next position for this chord, and then we can go to the next one, and then we can go to the next one, and then we're back at the top. This is root position, just up an octave, and then you want to make your way down the inversions, okay? So you want to do this in both hands. Okay, that's how you actually train chords so that you can use them at command, because this is a matter of muscle memory. It's a matter of your hands and fingers knowing how to construct these chords rather than having to use your mind. Once it's automatic, that's when you can just cast these chords like they are spells. By the way, that's kind of like how I approach teaching some of this late beginner to intermediate material in keyboard wizardry. I created a whole course called the Keyboard Wizards Spellbook, where every video in that course is like a new spell that you can cast on the keys. So if you're interested in that at all, check out the top link in the description. So that's essentially how you train these chord inversions, okay? And you can do this for any chord. For example, if we just take a C minor 7 shape, we can do it for this as well. And I would recommend doing this. And again, you're not just training one, you're training a shape and a chord into the hands and into the fingers. But once you know how to place them, for example, if we play this C minor 7 shape over an A flat root, this is what you get, right? If we play it over an F root, this is what we get. So yeah, there's so many use cases for these chords and these shapes, okay? And that's what I promised in this video. I promised Mac Miller type chords, and that's how you actually develop these chords, okay? Now, why do you want to learn inversions? Well, it's because that different inversions actually establish a different kind of melody, right? At the start, I played this. And that's actually a melody that you hear in the tune, kind of like somewhere in the middle. Da, 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 da. And it's a beautiful melody, right? Now, what I'm actually doing here in the right hand, I'm just playing inversions of the chords that we've already looked at. Okay, so for example, we start with this E flat major 7 chord. Well, check it out in the right hand. I'm just playing an inversion of E flat major 7th. So that's the root position chord. That's this inversion of it, right? Now, why? Well, because that melodic note is on the top now. So that's kind of the most important note of a chord, in my opinion, is the melodic note. The top note, what's being implied by the chord, okay? Da, and now the next note is this, right? The melody goes da da do do. Okay, so our next note is A. Well, guess what? A, we had this chord originally, right? An F major triad. What's in this F major triad? It's an A. So what if we played this F major triad in this inversion such that A, the melodic note, is on the top? Boom. So this is what we have. Okay, what's the next note in the melody? Da. It's this F. So let's now play our F major triad so that F is on the top. And then the next note in the melody is D. So we'd play this. Do you see that? Da, 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 da. So that's why you want to learn chord inversions, because it actually, you can explore so much more melodic content once you understand how chord inversions work and how to train them. You're not just doing I mean, yeah, on the surface when you do this exercise, you're training, you know, it's like going back to the gym example, you're just lifting a weight over and over again until eventually, after some amount of time of just doing the repetitions of that, what's going to happen? You're going to have big muscles there, which you can use to lift things and look cool, look impressive, or whatever, look aesthetic. You know what I mean? And so there are like positive, there are so many positive use cases of these things, right? And that's one of them, in my opinion, one of the most useful and one of the most powerful reasons why you want to practice chord inversions, because we can create different melodies using different inversions of the chords. So I would encourage you now to actually, once you do your mechanical practice, actually work on applying these things in a creative way. So explore different melodies, explore different ideas. So how about this? Okay, so I used this concept of inversions. Here we played E flat major 7, root position. This F major triad like that. E flat major 7 shape like that, okay? And that's implying this melody. Da, 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 Okay, so that's essentially a massive lesson on chords and chord inversions and how you can actually, like, I didn't want, and I don't teach stuff like that. I don't teach play this note, play that note. That's boring as heck. If you're gonna learn this stuff, you may as well learn how it works so that you can apply it forever in the future. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may as well put in a little bit of extra work so that you can train this stuff. And trust me, like, another video tutorial on YouTube, yeah, it's good, you can learn some stuff, but it's ultimately not what matters. What matters is actually taking this material and practicing it. You know what I mean? Practice is that's how you get good. You just practice. I'm such an advocate for like brute force training practice, where you sit there and trust me, I'm telling you this because this is what I did. Right? These inversions of chords. In fact, I still do this to this day. But I started practicing this exercise that I've shown you in this video like 6 years ago, I think. And I spent like an hour to 2 hours every single day just training these chords into the hands and into the fingers. Like this. Right? You know, and after a certain amount of time, like, it just becomes automatic, as I was saying. Please, if you got one thing from this video, I may have come off like kind of, I don't know, annoying or something, but if you got one thing from this video, train this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, actually train it. Like, it's... Okay, I'm gonna hold myself back from a rant, yeah. This is tough. Basically, what I'm saying is, like, if you want to get good at the keys, it's not that complicated. You just sit down and train this stuff every day, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. After a month, after a couple of months, it's gonna be there and you can use it at command. You know what I'm saying? So I really hope that you take this as your sign to practice. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah, peace. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate your viewership. If you like this video, by the way, please help me grow this channel by liking, commenting, all that good stuff. Peace out. Good luck.